What's going on, guys? It's Steve. So Carmelo Anthony and Paul George are going to have an epic duel tonight. Now, today I'm going to be particularly talking about a variety of topics, but the biggest topic is obviously the New York Knicks versus the Indiana Pacers, because these two teams so far this season have been extremely disappointing. The New York Knicks, they had a great start, solid start. They were like third seed for like a week at one point. And then the Pacers, they started off horrible, and then the Knicks started playing horrible, and then the Pacers started to play better, and they jumped up in the seedings, and now the Pacers are 7th at 22-21, and the Knicks are 11th at 19-26. So both are having very disappointing seasons thus far with the new rosters. We knew there would be some struggles from the get-go, but we didn't expect it to be this long into the season to have these two teams struggling like this. It's crazy to think about how much talent is on both teams. If you look at the Indiana Pacers, they're on paper, they look like one of the best defensive teams on the planet. But they started off so horrible defensively. If you look at, they got Miles Turner. I'm pretty sure I think they have Thaddeus Young. I may be wrong about that. They have Miles Turner, they have Paul George, they have Big Al. Jeff Teague is a solid defender. Monte Ellis is a solid defender. They have a lot of solid defenders, and Paul George is a pretty good defender. And Miles Turner is a pretty good defender as well. So it's not like they don't have defenders. Where I knew they would struggle was on the offensive end. And it's weird because in the beginning of the season, it was like reversed. They were playing well offensively, just poorly defensively. Now it's like the Knicks. The Knicks are horrible defensively, but their offense has gotten better farther into the season. And this brings me to the point, who's going to play better, Carmelo Anthony or Paul George? Now, if you look at the recent games, Carmelo Anthony's been playing well. And I said this, when the season was starting, and I've been saying this every single week, because I make a video about Melo every week, because obviously I'm the leader of the Melo fanboy club. Anyway, according to you guys. Anyway, so Melo, the last couple of games has been playing elite. He's looking like 2013 Melo, passing the ball. I'm hearing people saying he's got a step back. It's, what it is? It's his minutes are going up. So when you see him playing 32 minutes and you see him getting benched for half of the fourth quarter, if you guys have ever played basketball and you're sweating and your body's all hot and warm and you're sweating like crazy, you're running and you're loose, you sit down for 1 minute even, you get stiff. So imagine sitting Melo down for half of the fourth quarter. Imagine how stiff. Sometimes it's even longer than that. The longest I've seen him sit was like 10 minutes. It's crazy. So when he plays longer and he plays in larger spurts, he plays way better. It's that simple. And the reason for that is because he's loose. He's at that point in time where his body can't just come back into the game anymore and just automatically be able to do what he used to do. He needs to play more, and that's why I said he needs to play more. And look, he's playing well. And by the way, that in-and-out shot the other day, oh my goodness, man, that was heartbreaking. The Garden, it erupted because it went in and it spun around like a toilet bowl, and then it just popped out. The Garden erupted, and then you saw Melo sit down, and the coach pat him on the back and laugh like, there's nothing we could do about that. And the fans just talking to him, and I feel bad for him, man. He's been playing so great lately. And, Paul George and the Indiana Pacers. Now, Paul George, he didn't really have a great start to the season, sort of like Carmelo. Melo actually started off very inconsistent. He would have a good game, then he wouldn't have a good game. Recently, he's been more consistent, but Paul George himself even came out and said, I'm not playing great. I'm not playing well. We all expected Paul, the same way I told you guys, I expect Melo to bring out at least 26, 27 points per game because I thought his minutes would be up. I think he wasn't going to get double teamed as much. He's still getting double teamed. He's playing less minutes than ever, right? And then Paul George, I thought Paul George would average around 23, 24, and it's just not happening. He hasn't been playing well. Same thing with Melo. They're both playing not great seasons in general for either one of them. Now, they're both still elite players, and I would still love to see these two go head-to-head in the NBA playoffs. Hopefully they can. It wouldn't be in the first round. It would probably be in the second round if they both make it to the second round, which I think they can, depending. Because if Indiana plays Boston, I don't know about that. If the Knicks play Boston, I can't. It's going to be a little biased, It's going to be a little biased if I say, I think the Knicks are going to win, even though I do. Because, honest to God, I know you guys hate this when I say this so much, but honest to God, I honestly think that the New York Knicks are the only team in the Eastern Conference that stand any type of chance to beat the Cleveland Cavaliers. And that there's two reasons actually. Three reasons actually. The veteran experience of both Derrick Rose and Joakim Noah. Derrick Rose, and that's the first reason. Second reason is Derrick Rose performs in the playoffs. We know that he shows up in big moments. And three, statistically, Carmelo is LeBron's hardest matchup in terms of points per game, everything. All of his stats go down when he plays Melo. And that's why Melo has the best record against LeBron. I think it's like 12-15 now, something like that. And that's me from an unbiased perspective. But I think Paul George, what he did in 2012 and 2013 was great. To have LeBron James come to the half-court line and shake your hand, you know you're doing something right. You definitely know you're doing something right if you have the best player in the world come up to you at half court in game. It's not even like it was after the game. It was in game and shake your hand. Like, that's respect, So if LeBron respects Paul George, we have to as well because, we don't have to do everything LeBron does, but I'm saying, LeBron is LeBron. He's the best player in the world for the past decade, pretty much, So, yeah, man, it's going to be an exciting game. I honestly think, my personal predictions, I don't know who's going to win, to be honest. Both of these teams are just playing so horrible. Obviously, you already know who I'm going to be supporting because I'm a Knicks fan. So, yes, I think the Knicks are going to win, but from an unbiased perspective, if I weren't a Knicks fan and if I weren't a Pacers fan, I wouldn't know who would win because both of these teams have been playing so inconsistent. They're just not great teams in general. Now, I will say this. The Indiana Pacers have been playing pretty well as of recently. They're 7-3 in their last 10 games, whereas the Knicks, they're 3-7, so it's like a flip-flop, just like I said earlier in the video. However, again, too inconsistent. There's horrible seasons for both teams. Everyone expected them to have better records, and I know the season's midway through. The Pacers are 43 games in, so that's more than half. That's actually like 51%, and the Knicks are pretty much the same. The Knicks are 44 games in, actually, so 45, actually, excuse me. So it's like these teams, they're more than halfway through the season. So I personally think both teams will pick it up towards the end of the season after All-Star break. I think they're really going to ramp it up. Like that little, like that week off is going to really help them get more, experience together and work together. I don't know. I just think that rest is going to be good for, both teams. It will help both teams out if they get some rest and they can just sit back and reflect on what's been going on in the first half of the season, because honest to God, the Knicks are atrocious on the defensive end. Just absolutely terrible on the defensive end. And it starts, and you guys are going to be surprised when I say this, it starts with Carmelo Anthony. He needs to play with more heart on the defensive end. I'm sick and tired of seeing him getting beat on screens, off ball, whatever. He needs to put more heart on the defensive end. It starts with him, then it trickles down to Derrick Rose, then it trickles down to Joakim Noah, then Porzingis, and then everyone. Actually, I'll take that back. Melo, Derrick Rose, and Joakim Noah, and then Courtney Lee, and then Kristaps Porzingis. Because the veterans need to set the example for the younger guys like your Hernan Gomez's, your Kuzminskis's, your Porzingis, all of these players. So in terms of that, it starts with Carmelo Anthony. On the offensive end, again, it starts with Carmelo Anthony. He needs to be more consistent. I need to see Melo go from dropping, 25 points or 35 points one game to, he had a 25-point quarter, by the way, from that to 13 points, then going up to 27, and then going back to 12, and then 19, and then 21. Too inconsistent. You cannot have so many games under 20 points. I know it's going to happen every now and then. It happens. You're older. It's going to happen. Look at LeBron. It happens to LeBron a lot too. But you're supposed to be the leader and the scorer of the best. You're definitely the best player on the team. So it starts with Carmelo Anthony. And the same thing with Paul George. He needs to play better. He himself came out and said, I'm not playing well. So he needs to play better as well. And it starts tonight. These two players need to go at it. This is a statement game. I know I say that a lot, but this is a statement game. Knicks versus Pacers. A very, very big statement game. Very big for both Melo and Paul George and for the teams, the Knicks and the Pacers. Because it says, you know what? We're having a bad season, but if we meet you in the playoffs, it's over. You know, you're not gonna beat us. You know, and the same thing with the Melo and Paul George. It's the same thing with them as well. You know. So anyway, guys, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. It's been State. Hopefully you guys like this point of view. I'm trying to be unbiased. I'm out.